Lila was annoyed. She, Adrian, Luca, and Kagami went into Francoise Dupont together. Kagami, who would usually be attending her own prestigious private academy, surprisingly received some time off on the kindness of her mother. She joined them now, still wearing her red tie, white blazer uniform. Adrian was looking at Lila sheepishly. "Come on, Lily. Don't be like that," he said. "I don't like this either, but it was the only condition." Lila rolled her eyes. "Don't worry about it too much, Lila," Luca calmly advised. "We're all here for you. Aren't we?" Luca turned to Kagami, who nodded. Lila wanted to roll her eyes, but managed to hold it in. Her friends were genuinely trying to be helpful, no matter how cheesy they came off as. Gabriel had requested that Lila attend school up until the fashion show. Apparently, he doesn't want the media catching wind of the fact that his next star model was also a frequent absentee. It would apparently be bad for the company's reputation or something. Lila being at school would also give her the opportunity to try on the clothing, to make sure that they fit her and to make any alterations if needed. The courtyard of Francoise Dupont was in a riot as they crossed through the doorway. The basketball court was covered with stalls and noisy pop-up booths. Students and visitors alike ate ice cream and fairy floss, challenged themselves at ball toss game, or wasted money trying to win a prize at the soda toss. "Hi," an energetic girl said, popping out of nowhere. "Welcome to Francoise Dupont. Here's the itinerary. Enjoy yourself." She shoved a colorful piece of paper at Kagami before moving on to greet the party of guests who came after their group. Francoise Dupont's festive bash, Kagami read from the paper, holding it at arm's length as if it might be radioactive. Day 1, food and games. Day 2 would be the mini-movie festival. Each classroom is going to be dedicated to a different genre. Buster is apparently hosting romantic comedies. Mendeleev is doing horror movies. The gym is booked for action, and they're showing the latest Disney animated feature at the library. "That actually sounds interesting," Lila said. "I'd rather do that than walk for a stupid fashion show." Day 3, the last day. "Thank God," Kagami continued. "Is a design contest?" "What?" "It's a fashion design contest where the contestants will be judged by Gabriel Agresti himself, and the winner's design will be featured in his next show." Lila blinked. Didn't the fashion contest episode already happen? At the beginning of season 1? Was it a repeat? But from Adrian's bored expression, Gabriel Agresti doesn't seem to be bestowing an unfair amount of sartorial attention upon Francoise Dupont. "That sounds interesting," Luca said. "Are you going to join?" "Who are you asking?" Lila asked, turning to him. "Which one of us look capable of designing fashion to you?" Luca nodded at Kagami. "I've seen your sketches," he said. Kagami shook her head. "I'm not interested in fashion," she said. "I'm much more of a landscape and still life person." "You should still go for it," Lila suggested. "What can you lose?" "My time," Kagami suggested. "If you like the idea so much, you should compete." "Oh, no." "No." Lila frowned. "I draw when I feel like it. I'm not trying to win prizes." "I didn't know you drew," Adrian remarked. "It's a hobby," Lila said. "Mostly, I just read or just nothing." "Nothing," Luca echoed. He tapped into Lila's melody and was surprised by the notes of sadness. "What do you mean by nothing?" Adrian asked. "Well, when I lived in Italy," Lila said. "I have a group of friends in elementary. We were really close, but, well, something happened beyond my control and we're not friends anymore." Half-truths, Luca thought. She's hiding something. "What does that mean?" Kagami said. "You can't just say something like, something happened beyond my control, and not expect us to ask questions. Was it bad?" "Oh, it's nothing that serious," Lila laughed, although it sounded a bit shrill. "We just grew up and grew apart. Tragic, but nothing new." "That's not it," Luca said. He looked into Lila's eyes. "Lila, you have to open up more. What do you mean by that?" Lila looked around, trying to find some excuse to latch onto. Adrian, noticing this, grabbed Lila's hand and pulled her away. I think Lila wants popcorn, he said. Don't pull that trick, Kagami said, following after them. I think I want popcorn too, Luca said, tracing after Kagami. Marinette, who had been watching this conversation from behind a hot dog stall, moved from her spot and followed them as well. They found a random room in the school that was thankfully deserted. Kagami closed the door for privacy, muffling the sounds of the carnival, while Adrian, Luca, and Lila found places to sit at. Kagami joined them just as Lila was fiddling with the ends of her hair. It was really my fault, Lila said uncomfortably. That my friends and I stopped talking. I wasn't in the best headspace at the time of our friendship, and I just cut them off. Why? Adrian asked softly. He looked into Lila's eyes with tenderness, and she couldn't stop the words from coming out. And my father was very sick, she said. When I was little, you see, he had been sick for ages, and we thought he was getting better. Until he had to live at the hospital permanently. That's when my relationship with my friends began going downhill. I was so worried about my father that I slowly withdrew into myself. I didn't talk to them, I stopped spending time with them. I didn't even notice it, but when I did, I realized we haven't talked or texted in months. When I tried to reconnect with them again, they wanted nothing to do with me. That doesn't make any sense, Kagami exclaimed, slamming her hand down on the table, making Lila and Luca jump. Adrian didn't move, staring intently at Lila. You were going through a hard time, of course you were being emotionally recluse. Just because you stopped hanging out with them, they didn't reach out to you? They didn't give you time. And no, it wasn't only that, Lila confessed. It's really my fault. I lost control of my emotions. I even attacked one of my friends. What? Luca said. Lila glanced at him before looking away. I find it hard to believe that you would just attack anyone without reason, Luca said. What happened? Lila was beginning to panic, biting her lip. The conversation had all gone so fast and now they were approaching dangerous waters. Lila had to change the subject, quick. I'm bored, she said. Why are we hanging out in this stupid classroom when there's corn dogs out there? Let's go and get something too. No, Adrian exclaimed. The shrill note of his cry scared everyone. Lila, open up. Why are you changing the subject? What are you telling me? Lila hesitated, staring down at her hands. Because her attention was directly elsewhere, she missed the moment when Adrian's eye colors flashed and changed. Green was replaced by one blue and one brown. Kagami watched this change in amazement. She could have sworn there was also a pointed halo covering the crown of Adrian's head. Then, Kagami blinked and then all returned to normal. Adrian's eyes were green, no halo anywhere. Was Kagami imagining things? But it seemed so real. And my father's condition was getting worse, Lila said. And my mood wasn't getting any better. I was so mad and sad at the same time. Angry that I can't do anything to help my father. Angry that my mother considered her job more important than being there for my father or for me. I got into a few altercations at school. I lashed out. But it was never anything serious and I got let off with warnings. Until one day, I had to be forced to be homeschooled and see a therapist. One of my friends came to check up on me, and I don't even remember what happened. I'm honestly not even sure. I was probably talking to my mom or something, but I just snapped. Lila's voice broke. She was close to tears and Luca could feel the pain of her melody. Kagami looked worried. Adrian reached forward and held Lila's hand. It's all right, Lily, you're doing good, he reassured. I don't remember what happened that day, Lila confessed. All I know was that I got a text I only saw a bit of before my phone was taken from me. One of my ex-friends had sent me a text message. They told me that we are no longer friends, you fucking monster. And that was it. I was alone. No one talked to me or looked at me. I later learned just from listening to the others that it took 5 teachers to pull me off my ex-friend. I sent her to the hospital. She stayed there for 2 whole weeks before she could returning to school. I never visited her or apologized because I didn't see the point. I thought I knew that she wouldn't want to see me again. I honestly didn't want to live after that, but somehow I still kept going. Everyone was silent as Lila finished her story. No one said a word. They called you a monster, Kagami whispered. Lila sniffed and wiped at her nose. That was years ago, she said, faux cheery. I'm fine now. Can we leave? I really am sick of this room. Adrian nodded, swallowing a lump in his throat. He was feeling so angry. Are you still seeing your therapist? Luca said, getting up. Lila shook her head. My mom stopped taking me. After a week or two, she didn't see the purpose in it anymore. Besides, we left her back in Italy. Luca nodded, biting back his anger. Lila's melody sang true, but a false note rang. It rang when she said Italy. What does that mean? Was Lila born in Italy? Or did she move there? Luca took a gander of Adrian's melody and found it was moving in beats, powerful drums clashing like the clap of thunder. Kagami's melody was also angry. Together, they were a fire they needed to douse before they fell victim to Hawk Moth. Guys, please don't get angry, Lila said, beating him to the punch. Like I said, it happened a long time ago. Let's just try to have some fun now, okay? Yes, that sounds fun, Kagami said, taking slow, deep breaths. Let's go play some games and get some food. That sounds great, Adrian agreed. Let's go. Yeah, let's get out of here, Luca added. All four friends left the room. The door closed, then opened. Marinette had been eavesdropping on the entire conversation right outside. She was disgusted by how easily Kagami and Luca fell for Lila's sob stories, how Adrian was immediately stirred by her woes. They were getting angry for her too. This manipulation couldn't go on for any longer. If Marinette's plan would properly work, it would solve all their problems in one fell swoop. She looked around the room to see if she could spot Lila's keychain. Maybe she had left her bag behind. Marinette cursed when she could see nothing. She soon walked out of the room and saw the four of them at the duck pond game. She quickly moved up to them. Hey, guys, she called out. Everyone turned to her. Adrian moved in front. Hey, Marinette, he greeted. How are you? I'm good, Marinette said. Happy that you're here with us. Especially you, Lila. We haven't seen you around school for some time. Yeah, Lila said, looking back at Marinette warily. I, had some stuff to deal with at home. Marinette looked over to Luca and Kagami, the latter of whom was eyeing her suspiciously. You having fun, Luca? Marinette asked. Yeah, Luca said amicably. You guys did an amazing job with this. Thanks, Marinette said cheerfully. How about you? I don't believe we met before. Kagami glared ice-cold daggers at Marinette. It's Kagami, she said shortly. We met during my fencing match with Adrian. Oh, right, Marinette said. Did you end up winning against Lila? Kagami shook her head. I'm so sorry to hear that, Marinette said. You must be a beginner, huh? Losing to someone who hasn't even tried up a fencing sword before that day. I love your pathetic attempts of getting under my skin when we all know what you're up to, Kagami said. Marinette's eyes twitched. Well, she said, if somebody didn't leave their phone where it wasn't supposed to be, none of this would have been necessary. Marinette's eyes landed on Luca, who didn't look guilty. Well, I felt something was off with my twin, and better be safe than sorry, Luca snapped, although still in his mellow, chilled tone. I guess so, Marinette said. Well, I better let you guys continue your fun. Enjoy the food and games. Marinette quickly left. Luca? Adrian said to him. What did you see? Jealousy as strong as an ox, Luca replied. Excuse me? The group turned to a woman. May I see you for upstairs in the art room? We have to do the clothes fitting for next week. Of course. Come on, guys. Marinette watched from a distance as the group moved upstairs, heading towards the art room. Lila was at the rear of the group, granting Marinette the perfect opportunity. She raced up, Lila's keychain was hanging off her bag in the perfect position, and then Lila grabbed Marinette's wrist, yanking her off balance. "Do you really think your plan will work?" Lila hissed. "I believe it will," Marinette replied. "You won't be able to get out of this one. Stay the fuck away from me." Lila let go of Marinette's hand and continued her way up the stairs. Chloe walked up beside Marinette. "What were you trying to do?" she asked. "The fox keychain," Marinette said. "I need it for my plan." "I'll get it for you then," Chloe said easily. "I have a much better plan than walking up to someone and trying to rob them in broad daylight." Marinette's lips quirked. "Here," she said, handing Chloe the passcode. "Give this to Adrian while you're at it." Chloe nodded and headed up. Chloe opened the door to the art room and everyone in it turned to her. "Chloe," Adrian asked, "what are you doing here?" Chloe upped to the group, noticing that Lila's bag was right near Adrian. "Damn. I just wanted to give you this." Chloe handed Adrian a piece of paper with the passcode on it. "Huh," Adrian said. "What's this?" "In case you need to leave for drinks or whatever." Chloe shrugged. "I have to go now, goodbye." Chloe turned to the door. "Hey, where's the handle?" she exclaimed. "Oh, sorry, let me let you out." A woman walked up and used a card to let Chloe out. She left without thanking the woman. "Rude brat," the woman said coldly as the door closed. The woman walked back to Lila, fitting the dress on her as Adrian pocketed the piece of paper that Chloe had given him. Why would he need this? What was Chloe's reason? Was it really only so Adrian could get water? After an hour, Adrian did start feeling thirsty. He stood up. "I'm going to get us some food and drinks," he said. "I'll come with," Kagami said, getting up as well. "We'll be back soon." Luca gave a thumb up and Lila nodded. Adrian and Kagami left the room after the woman reopened the door for them. They moved down the stairs and Kagami noticed that Adrian was side-eyeing her intently. Uncomfortable, Kagami faced the front again. "Kagami," Adrian said. "Can we talk for a bit?" "Sure," Kagami said. "What do you want to talk about?" They made it to the foot of the stairs and Adrian pointed outside. "In private," he said. Kagami nodded and they made their way to the school exit. Noticing this, Marinette quickly followed. As Adrian and Kagami made it out of the school, Adrian quickly pulled Kagami around a corner and covered her mouth. A second later, Marinette shot out at where they just stood and looked around wildly. "What the? Where did they do?" she cried. But another spin doesn't not unveil their locations. Damn it. When Adrian peeked around the corner, Marinette had gone searching for them in the wrong direction. "Let's go," Adrian said, quickly letting go of Kagami. The two of them briskly crossed the street and ducked into an alleyway just as Marinette rounded the gates to where the two of them were hiding. "Damn it," Marinette cried. "They're gone." The clasp of her purse came undone. "Marinette." "Not now, Tiki," Marinette said irritably, gripping the sides of her hair. "I can't believe I lose them." "Marinette, this isn't right," Tiki said. "I don't care," Marinette said. "I need to save Adrian, no matter what the cost. And Luca as well, and maybe that Kagami girl." "Marinette, please, listen to me," Tiki begged. Marinette peered inside her bag to see Tiki plaintively looking up at her, so done with the entire situation. "Marinette, think for yourself," she implored. "Adrian is fine. Luca is fine. Kagami is fine. They don't need saving." "Yes, they do," Marinette said. "She's evil." "Marinette." Marinette cut her off. "No, Tiki. I'm doing this. Stay out of it." Tiki sighed in defeat. Adrian peered out the alleyway to see that Marinette had gone back into the school. "Okay," Kagam said from behind him. "What's going on, Adrian?" Adrian turned to her. "You saw how my eyes changed colors, right?" Kagami's eyes went wide as Adrian's entire demeanor changed. His eyes had regained their strange blue and brown shades, and the halo she noticed earlier returned at full force. Celestial and pointed. I have, Kagami said smallly. This new Adrian smiled, and it was an unnerving thing to witness. Like a predator staring down its prey. Good, he said. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Lucius, or Ad, as that's what my beloved calls me. Lucius held out a hand to Kagami, and Kagami looked dumbly at it. Come on, Lucius beckoned. I don't bite. Kagami took Lucius' hand and immediately pulled back. Are you the devil? Lucius laughed. No, Lucius said. I'm just a mundane fallen angel, one of the thousands who followed the morning star to the earth. But we're not here to discuss that. I want to make a deal with you and Luca. Kagami narrowed her eyes. What kind of deal? She questioned. Lucius chuckled and Kagami's uneasiness grew. Well, Kagami, as you can see, I am currently inhabiting your friend's body. I need your help merging his half-soul with mine. My problem is that I'm not supposed to be here. Not supposed to be here? Kagami repeated. What does that mean? Lucius sighed, looking slightly annoyed. I'll break it down from you. I am from the real world where magic doesn't exist. The real world is a shithole that dealt me a bad hand, and my beloved ended up here because she belonged, but I'm not. The Lady of Souls would not allow me back into my original body because I destroyed it. I cut my own throat since I was so close to death already. He shrugged his shoulders as Kagami gasped. Since I need someplace to go, she put me in Adrian's body. There was also another option, but I don't want to live in England. So, here I am. Lucius' explanation doesn't so much clear anything up as give Kagami new questions. She tried to contain her confusion, but Lucius saw right through it. What are you still so confused about? The whole thing, Kagami said. So, you're from the real world? You don't belong here, but you were placed in Adrian's body as only half a soul? Yes and no, Lucius said. I have a full soul. Adrian only has a half. It's not his fault. Whoever made him just didn't put a soul in his body. But you're right, it seems like you understand. Lucius' mania pushed Kagami's uneasiness with the situation to the extreme. She didn't feel safe. She doesn't want to be near Lucius any longer. So, here's my deal. I need you to get 2 items for me from the siren and the tricker, Lucius said through gritted teeth. Why must I do that? Kagami asked. Watch that tone, girlie. I am not someone to be fucked with. Kagami closed her mouth in fear. You have to do it because I can't. It's against the rules that were set in place. So, you're going to fight the siren and Luca will go after the tricker and her foxes. But why? I must know the reason for this. Lucius slammed Kagami against the wall and Kagami cringed. She would have cowered away if she wasn't already closed in. The reason is that I need mine and Adrian's souls to be one, and I can't do it myself because of the rules I have no control over. If you need extra incentive, just know that your mother is planning on selling your soul off to add more numbers to hers. Kagami's eyes went wide. As she wouldn't do that to me. Oh, she will, Lucius said. Haven't you ever wondered what happened to your father? She'll do to you what she had done to him. Kagami had always wondered what had happened to her father. She had never seen him. She was told by Tomo that her father had left as soon as she was born. Be careful of that egg-rusty boy. Tomo's words rang in Kagami's ears. He's not who he seems. Lucius watched Kagami's face as if he could read her thoughts. It seems that your mother said something to you already, huh? How could he know that? Yes? So what? Kagami said defiantly. Lucius rolled his eyes. If you don't believe me, then listen to my words carefully. Your mother is planning on using you like I said to add numbers to Air Soul. For that to work, she needs you to be unaware of that fact. But now that I told you, you know now. The only way to stop her is if you make a deal with the Lady of Souls. To keep your soul safe, you're going to have to fight the siren to do so, and Luca will need to go after the tricker and her foxes. How do I know if I can trust you? Kagami asked. You're not telling me how to meet the Lady of Souls. Lucius nodded, pulling back. In your father's old study, there is a bookshelf filled with books. One of the books has no name on it. Pull it out and it will reveal a secret room which contains a book called Tamshur no Mono Haraku. Open the gate of the soul? Kagami translated. Yes, Lucius said. It will have a light blue sea turtle on it. Take that book, open it, and you will meet the Lady of Souls, the Siren, and the Tricker. Kagami was still skeptical. So, if I do this, if this is true, what's your end of the deal? If I do this for you, what do I get? Oh, Lucius said. You'll live another day. Huh? My deal is your life, Lucius said. If you do this for you, you won't be found dead in your bed. Kagami grew fearful. This wasn't a deal or a threat, it was a promise. So, Lucius prompted. Deal? He held out his hand and Kagami hesitated but accepted the shake. She felt a burning sensation in her palm and immediately tried to pull away. She couldn't see the chain wrapping around her arm, but she could feel the red-hot metal digging into her skin. Once the pain ended, Lucius finally pulled away. That chain on your arm will disappear once you fulfill your end of the deal. Do you understand? Kagami nodded, tears now spilling out of her eyes. Wonderful, Lucius said. Now I have go to back into being Adrian, so please act normal in front of him. Wipe away those tears now. Kagami nodded, sniffing. Good, bye, she said. Just like that, Adrian was back to normal. His green eyes showed confusion. Kagami, are you okay? Yes, I am, Kagami said. Let's go back inside with the food and drinks. Adrian's eyes went wide. Of course. Let's go. While Lila and Luca waited for Adrian and Kagami to come back, he looked at her every once in a while. Do you have a question? Lila asked, not looking at him. Yes, Luca said. Lila, what did you mean when you said I was in middle school? Lila looked confused. What do you mean? I was attending middle school. You're attending middle school right now, Luca said. I don't know how the school system in Italy works, but you're still in middle school. Shit. Lila had completely forgotten that the school system was different from the American school system. She was 16 years old. She was in high school, but all the others were in middle school. Wait, do they count as high schoolers as well? Aren't they all high school age? Everything was so different here. Well, like you said, the system works different in Italy. So, Lila couldn't think up of a good excuse. Lila, Luca prompted. Lila began looking around, trying to figure a way out of the situation when the door opened. Oh, hey, Lila said, quickly turning her head. Hey, sorry for making you guys wait, Adrian exclaimed. He was holding onto the food while Kagami was holding the drinks. They walk up to them. Adrian handed Lila the food and drink while Kagami snatched onto Luca's hand. We need to talk in private later today, she whispered. Luca nodded. The four friends talked to each other, mostly about random things. Kagami pulled out her sketchbook and handed it to Lila. What's this? Lila asked. I would love to see you draw, Kagami said. Lila bit her lip. Do you have a pen or pencil? She asked. Kagami nodded, handing Lila her pencil. Lila opened to a random page of the sketchbook and began doodling a quick but slightly messy drawing. After a while, it seemed she was making multiple sketches. She stopped and handed Kagami her sketchbook back. Kagami, Luca, and Adrian were all drawn there, in different kinds of poses, wearing beautiful clothing in their own way. The three friends looked up at Lila, who was peering back curiously. Well? Lila asked. You have to enter these. I will not, Lila said. Please, Lily, you have to. Adrian implored. These are wonderful, Luca followed. I would do it in your place. Lila rolled her eyes. They're not that special. Yes, they are, Lila. You have to believe in yourself, Kagami said. Lila chuckled a little bit. All right, she conceded. I'll do some more sketches and one Friday, you can turn it in. How about that? Kagami nodded excitedly. I'll give you some of the designs from my sketchbook, okay? Oh, of course. The school day had ended and everyone was cleaning up. Lila, Adrian, Luca, and Kagami left the art room, the door closing behind them. We'll do more clothing adjustments tomorrow morning. Mr. Agresti, since you have the code, you can let yourself and your friends and one of us would be here waiting for you. Adrian nodded. Of course. Thank you very much. With that, all of them walked down the stairs and headed out of the school building. Hey, they all turned to see Kim walking up to them. Everyone looked in the direction of Adrian and his new friends. Yes, Adrian asked. Aren't you guys going to help? Kim asked. We still have a lot to clean up. I have to get home and do some deliveries, Luca said. I don't go here, Kagami said. Lila and I are busy, Adrian said, speaking up for Lila. Well, can't that wait? Luca and What's-Her-Face can leave, but not you two. Oh, Kim, I don't think you heard me. I said we are busy. So fuck off or lose a fucking leg. Did you just threaten me, Adrian? Kim hissed. What if I did? What are you gonna do about it, you dumb-headed idiots? Kim grabbed Adrian by his shirt and Luca and Kagami moved to pull Kim off Adrian. Let him go, Kim, Luca said. Do it now, Kagami added. Watch your words, Adrian, Kim said, ignoring the others as the class watched this go down. Not helping or stopping Kim. Why should I? Adrian asked. It's not like you're gonna do anything to me. Kim growled. Shut the hell up. I'll break that model face of yours if you don't shut the hell up. Let him go. Kim felt nails digging into his skin and he hissed in pain. He turned to see Lila. Her look of pure rage was as clear as day. If you think threatening Adrian is going to make him or me stay, you are dead fucking wrong, Kim. The rage that Lila was expressing was too much for him. He let Adrian go. Good, Lila said. Now go with Madame Mendeleev. What? Madame Mendeleev walked up to the group with her arms crossed and looking very upset. Threatening to hurt another student now, huh? Wait, no. He did it to me first, Kim said. Yeah, Adrian threatened him first, Madame Mendeleev. Alex jumped in, defending Kim. The others all agreed, standing up for their friends, but to their dismay, Madame Mendeleev shook her head. Lila just called me and I heard the threats as clear as day. Madame Mendeleev grabbed Kim's arm. You're coming with me. She pulled Kim away. No, wait. Why are you believing them and not us? Kim yelled, still trying to pull away. Stop fighting me at once. The rest of the class turned to Adrian, who had a smug smile. He shrugged his shoulders. Sorry, we gotta go. Bye. With that, Adrian, Lila, Luca, and Kagami left. I don't trust this Kagami. How do we know if he's telling the truth? Luca asked. I don't know, but I am gonna see. If he's telling the truth, then you will be meeting with this tricker, Kagami said. Both Luca and Kagami were at a cafe. When they parted ways with Adrian and Lila, they decided to stay out a little bit longer because Kagami wanted to talk to Luca about something. I know something was off with Adrian. It would make sense if someone else is influencing his behavior, but I didn't think something was within him. I don't believe in ghosts or the supernatural, but this is the only thing I could see as a possibility. His melody had 2 songs, Luca said. Kagami sighed. I am terrified of him, Luca. Who? Adrian? Or Lucius? His name is Lucius. I am afraid of him. Adrian is someone I would never fear, but with Lucius in Adrian's body, Adrian is so sweet and soft and kind, but Lucius made something so sweet into an actual monster, Kagami said. Luca hummed at Kagami's words. And you said, he wasn't meant to be here, but his beloved was, right? Kagami nodded. Lila must be his beloved then? I thought of that too. But Lila seems to be unaware of that fact, Luca said, thinking back to when they were at Adrian's place and how Lila's melody had changed from nervousness to fear. No, maybe Lila was somewhat aware of it when talking to Adrian about him making her uncomfortable. Her Melody was nervous. He was making her uncomfortable, but she didn't say anything about it. Then, her Melody turned to fear when she asked what happened upstairs when they confronted him. She's familiar with his kind of behavior. Kagami looked on with worry. Do you think Lucius was, hurting Lila? Luca shook his head. Physically, no. Emotionally, yes. Maybe he was a manipulator. We don't know, and we can't just make up guesses on how his and Lila's life was. But he seems to take control in the relationship. Lila has no problem standing up for herself, but when it comes to Lucius, he takes the wheel. He'll defend Lila like no tomorrow if he is too. Sounds like there's a type of imbalance in the relationship. An imbalance is right, Luca said. He's not good for her, he's obsessed with her. I don't think what he is feeling is love. He's just possessive. Kagami nodded, but a question popped up in her head. If he's possessive, why would he let Lila make friends then? Because Adrian is still in control. Lucius can talk to Adrian and influence his actions and decisions, but he can't do what he wants. So, as long as Adrian is in control, he can't do anything, Kagami concluded. Luca nodded. If Lucius has his way, he would make sure no one goes near Lila. Adrian wants Lila to have friends. Then we can't let this happen. No, I think it's better if we do. Kagami looked confused. What do you mean? Look, you said that Lucius was talking to you and not Adrian, right? And he said that he and Adrian's soul must become one, right? Kagami nodded, and she soon realized what Luca was getting at. If Adrian and Lucius' souls doesn't become one, it means we could lose Adrian. Luca pulled back in his head and nodded. They both stayed silent for a moment. Do you think Lila is really Lila? Kagami asked after a moment. Luca shrugged. Honestly, she is probably someone different, but since she had to follow some kind of rule or something to have to keep that name. Kagami nodded. But she's not lying to us, though. She lied about where she lived, but everything else is still true. Do you think she'll tell us? Luca shook his head. Unlikely. She would think we wouldn't believe her. I can see why, though. We can wait until she tells us. She likes us. Having actual friends again, Lila would like to keep it that way, huh? Luca nodded. Both of their thoughts wandered when Luca's phone rang. He pulled it out. Dipshit Lila, I am a year older than you. BTW. Luca looked at the text and blinked. What is it? Kagami asked. Luca looked at her and started to look something up. Huh, Lila is a year older than us. Kagami blinked. Really? Yeah. Luca sent a text back. Guitar King. Old lady dipshit Lila. Fuck you. Luca laughed. Chatnor sat in a room where Nadia Chamak sat across from him, looking at her watch. Sorry, I'm late. Ladybug said, sitting down next to her partner. Are we ready? Nadia smiled and nodded. Okay, in 3, 2, 1. The man behind the camera pointed. Good evening, Paris. This is Nadia Chamak here with an exclusive interview with Ladybug and Chat Noir. Lila sat on her bed, watching the interview on her computer. She didn't think that the episode would happen this early along with the fashion episode too, but it was only now 2 days away until Monday, which was fine. So, Chat Noir, are you dating anyone at the moment? Nadia asked with a cheeky smile. No, I'm not, Chat Noir replied. Why are you asking? A photo of Chat Noir and Lila was uploaded onto the massive screen. Chat Noir could be seen hugging Lila and taking him away with her. Oh, I see. Chat Noir chuckled nervously. That. Other photos showed up with him talking to her outside her window. Care to explain? Nadia asked. Chat Noir looked at Nadia for a good long second before speaking. Please give me a good reason why I shouldn't cataclysm your fucking. It's nothing, Ladybug said quickly. Chat Noir was just helping this girl out. Nothing important. She's not important to the interview. Please talk about something more interesting and important than some random girl. Nadia blinked in surprise and disbelief. Do I sense a love triangle? Fuck, no. Chat Noir said. Hell, no. Ladybug cried. I don't fucking like that girl. Ladybug said, but coughed and quickly corrected herself. I don't know her. We saved her a few times, but there's no relationship. Right, Chat? Ladybug elbowed Chat Noir, who seemed to be having an internal battle with himself. Yes, we just save her, he said. Nothing more, nothing less. Now, could you please this down? Nadia blinked and looked at her watch. The rating was going up. Oh, okay. So how about you two and these photos? The photos of Lila and Chat Noir were replaced with Chat Noir and Ladybug. In one of them, they were kissing. Okay, first of all, Ladybug cried. This dumbass got shot by one of Dark Cupid's arrows. I have to kiss him to save him. Who the fuck are you calling a dumbass? Chat Noir yelled. You. I always have to save your ass every time we have to fight an Akuma. You don't take shit seriously at the best of times. Ladybug spat. Chat Noir looked offended by this remark. Okay, first of all, I don't fuck up all the time. You think you're so perfect, huh? Have you seen your plans? I don't know why the fuck anyone would do something so over the top. Fucking asshole. Two-faced bitch. Oh, Hogo. Okay, now let's not. Stay out of this. Chat Noir and Ladybug yelled in unison. Nadia saw her watch. The viewership was going down. Okay, Nadia. Wrap it up, her head producer called. Okay, Nadia said. How about we? The sound of the phone ringing caught her, Chat Noir, and Ladybug's attention. Oh, we have a caller. Nadia remarked. Hello, welcome to tonight's show. What's your name and your question? This is a real shit show, huh? Lila's voice echoed. Chat Noir stood up and Ladybug looked disgusted. Well, hello, Nadia said. We saw you with Chat Noir. Care to explain your relationship? Lila clicked her tongue. First and foremost, Chat? Why yes, Lila? Chat Noir asked. Sit. Chat Noir sat down. What the hell? Ladybug exclaimed. You too, Mississippi Lucky Bug. Ladybug looked offended by that and didn't do anything. Lila rolled her eyes and turned to Nadia. There's nothing going on between me and Chat Noir. What happened was that I ran from my school due to a classmate of mine. My good friend got worried and asked him to look for me. My friend asked Chat to make sure I was fine on their behalf, and the hug wasn't a hug. We were just close to each other, Lila explained. But your arms? Nadia questioned. That can be easily manipulated with computer software. Please do better research on this stuff before you make news about it. It's not a good look, Lila said with a small smile. I have to go now. I have school in the morning. Good night, Chat Noir. Night, Ladybug. And good night to you as well, Nadia. Lila ended the call. Welp, Chat Noir said, getting up again. Time for me to go and never do this again. Bye. Chat Noir quickly left. Ladybug stood here, unsure of what to do or say. She stuttered. You at what? Fuck all this, I'm going home too. With that, Ladybug left as well. Interesting. This will be perfect to test out my new ability. Gabriel got up from the couch. Nuru, come. We're going to try something out. Master, please. Nuru cried. It's not wise to go after this girl. I could really die. I want to test something out. Not here. Gabriel growled. Fine. We deal with normal Akumas then. Nadia, we are canceling this show. Please, wait. Let's just talk. No. Did you see what happened? The show is cancelled. Think up of a better one or stick with the morning news. Nadia fell onto her knees, crying. Prime Queen. I am Hawk Moth. Your show was cancelled and ruined. I will give you the powers to make sure your rating will never go down. All you have to do is get the miraculous of the Ladybug and Black Cat. Do we have a deal? Of course, Hawk Moth. I'll make sure my rating never drop again. Black and purple energy covered Nadia. Now, let's get this show started. Lila felt that something was off. She got up from bed and looked into her living room. Her eyes landed on the TV. What the? She didn't dare to get close to it until a hand broke through it. Nope. Lila quickly walked back into her bedroom and locked the door. She went to her window and opened it, climbing out of it and going down the emergency ladder when she heard her door break down. Where are you? The Akuma screamed. Lila quickly and quietly made it down and ran from her home. Plag watched Adrian as he got ready for bed. He wasn't sure what to make of this situation. Adrian acted so out of character tonight, and everyone saw it. Plag hoped that no one would think less of Chat Noir and Ladybug, but he was somewhat grateful for Lila's intervention, stopping what kind of unstoppable chaos that would have happened. Adrian got into his bed and pulled out his phone. He texted Lila. Catboy, hey Lily. I just wanted to say goodnight to you. I'll see you in the morning, love. Adrian yawned and turned to sleep. Plag watched him and soon, he closed his eyes as well. Marinette was up the wall with what happened tonight. A love triangle with Lila. It made her sick. Marinette. I'm not listening to you, Tiki. Marinette, Lila is walking down the street. Marinette quickly went up to her sunroof to see Lila walking down the street. She was looking around before she turned to Marinette's bakery. No, Marinette cried. Go away. Lila looked up. Oh, hello. Look, I know we don't see eye to eye, but if you happen to see Ladybug or Chat Noir, let them know that there's an Akuma out and about going in and out of TVs. Marinette's eyes went wide. She took a deep breath. And she came after you. Lila nodded. Honestly. I was being honest. Something else must have set her off. But, yeah. I'm just gonna go and sit in the park where there are no TVs. Later. With that, Lila left and Marinette took another deep breath. Tiki. Tiki looked at Marinette. Don't even think about it. Spots on. Lila made her way to the park and sat down on a bench. She sighed. Okay, so let those two deal with the Akuma. See ladybugs and then go home and sleep. Lila looked up at the stars and her mind wandered off. We should live together, said Ad's voice. Layla looked up from her book and looked right at him. Right after college, she suggested. No, I mean, right after high school. Campbell, no. Ad looked saddened. But why, my sweet? Layla closed her book and looked at him. Because we need jobs and working at fast food and picking up groceries will not give us enough money for that. Ad blinked. I was thinking of something else. Ad, no. We talked about this already. Layla. Layla backed away slightly. I know we talked about it, but he doesn't care. He never keep things under lock and key. I could literally steal his cards and let him deal with all that debt. But that's wrong and you're not doing that. Ad bit his lips. He wasn't liking how she was going against him. Is this because of what I said yesterday? Layla looked away. She reopened the book and started reading again. Layla, Lily, please. I know what I said was a bit too far. A bit? No, that wasn't a bit. That was way overboard. Look, I love you, but this isn't something I want or will do. We are not gonna do a Romeo and fucking Juliet. Layla exclaimed. Look, you need real help. Like I said, I love you. But if you bring that topic up again, don't think I won't break it off with you. Ad nodded his head. You'll come around eventually, he said. No, I won't. You know I won't. Ad smiled and nodded. I understand. Can I have a hug? Layla looked at him for a long moment before moving in to hug him. Look, I'm sorry. I understand. I just don't want to lose you, that's all. Ad smiled and hugged Layla tighter. I know, but doing that is never the answer. If I die, I want you to live your life as normal. You have a good job and the life you want. Layla pulled away. She looked up at the sky. Is that the Big Dipper? She pointed it out to Ad, who looked up. Oh, it is. Both Ad and Layla watched the night sky, pointing out the stars they see. Lila came back to reality and she frowned. She wondered how Ad was doing. She still doesn't remember how she got here. The last time she tried to remember was the thing with her mother and the smell of smoke. Was she in some kind of accident? Lila looked up at a noise. She heard something. What the? She felt herself being grabbed and something wrapped around her, pulling her in front of a big TV. What the hell? There you are. Lila's eyes went wide. Prime Queen was right in front of her. Perfect timing. A huge hand came out of the TV and grabbed her, pulling her in while Ladybug smirked. I'll let her have you for a while I go get some sleep. Ladybug quickly left the scene. Plag. Plag yawned and rolled over. Plag. Plag grumbled something under his breath. Plag. You lazy piece of crap, wake the hell up. Plag jumped at the words and looked around. What? Plag, it's me, you dumbass. Tiki was glaring at him. I need you to wake your holder up. Marinette, that girl, she gave Lila to an Akuma. Oh no. Wake him up now. I am not dealing with this childish behavior. Wait, what kind of? And she's gone. Great. Plag looked over at Adrian. Hey kid. Yeah, Plag, Adrian said. Plag's eyes went wide. Were you up this whole time? He asked. He was expecting to wake Adrian up so quickly. Lila is in danger, isn't it? Plag nodded. Plag, claws out. Chat Noir landed in front of the TV. Ladybug followed soon afterwards. Ladybug and Chat Noir. Welcome. If you want Lila Rossi to be safe, you must come through the TV. This could be a trap. Chat Noir jumped through the TV without a second thought. Ladybug sighed, annoyed. She followed after him. They landed in a room where they saw Lila at the far end of a long hallway, tied to a pole and surrounded by glass. Hi, Lila called. Are you okay? Chat yelled, moving to Lila. Don't move. Lila screamed. Chat Noir stopped. Welcome, Ladybug and Chat Noir, exclaimed Prime Queen. Welcome to my game room. The lights turned on. Chat Noir and Ladybug looked around to see the room was decorated with different kinds of traps. Some hanging from the walls and ceiling, others covering the floor. What the? Ladybug looked around in shock. What do you want with her? Chat Noir yelled. I want nothing, Prime Queen replied. What I want is for my show to be revived and my viewer rating to go up. So, I decided to make a game show. Prime Queen walked forward, showing herself. The only way to move forward and save Lila is to compete in my games. You must only make it through, but I must warn you, each trap will put Lila in danger. Ladybug didn't look too bothered, but Chat Noir was panicking. You must also answer my questions too. Ladybug rolled her eyes. Come on, Chat Noir, let's get this done with. Ladybug readied herself as Chat Noir also prepared to pounce. No, wait, Lila yelled. Prime Queen and the two heroes looked at her. Do you want to be saved or not? Ladybug demanded, annoyed. I do want to be saved, Lila said. But, Prime Queen, can we talk? Prime Queen was confused for a moment. Don't listen to her, Hawk Moth commanded. Remember what she can do to you. Nadia, please. Let's talk for a bit before the game starts, okay? Don't listen to Hawk Moth. Prime Queen stood there silently. Chat Noir moved. Don't move, Chat, Lila yelled. But. No, I got this. Lila looked at Prime Queen. Please. Oh, okay, Prime Queen said. Ladybug was shocked. Lila, stay out of this. We got it. Ladybug yelled. Chat Noir turned to Ladybug. Shut the hell up. Excuse me? Prime Queen, was your show cancelled? Lila asked, and Prime Queen nodded her head. I am deeply sorry that happened to you. I bet that show must mean a lot to you, huh? It did mean a lot to me. This was the first show I ever ran by myself beside the news. Lila nodded. So, which means, this was your only shot. Prime Queen nodded again. Don't listen to her. She's trying to trick you. Hawk Moth yelled, but Prime Queen ignored him. I'll tell you about me and Chat Noir's relationship and, in return, you let me go. Is that a deal? Lila asked. Prime Queen hummed, looking over the fighting heroes. Of course. So, tell me, what is yours and Chat Noir's relationship? Lila took a deep breath. Me and Chat Noir are friends. We don't hang out as much together because he's a hero and he need to focus on stopping Hawk Moth. Prime Queen hummed. Lila, shut up. Ladybug screamed. Don't you yell at her. Chat Noir screamed, attacking Ladybug, which shocked her. She kicked him off her. You stupid idiot. Ladybug yelled, using her yo-yo to tie Chat Noir down, but he dodged the attack. My, he cares a lot about you, huh? Prime Queen asked. Lila nodded. He does very much. Prime Queen started thinking that Lila's words had more meaning behind them. Does she? Do you know Chat Noir's true identity? Prime Queen asked. Lila was taken aback by the question, so was Ladybug and Chat Noir. Lila shook her head. No, I don't, she said, but quickly added. But I do have a feeling who he is, but I don't want to put them in danger. What? Ladybug screamed. She turned to Chat Noir, who looked shocked as well. You told her who you are? Ladybug yelled, kicking Chat Noir to a wall. No, I didn't. Chat Noir said quickly. No, he didn't tell me who he is. Lila said. Oh, you don't have to tell me, Prime Queen said quickly. So, it is a romance that is blossoming. No, ask her who Chat Noir is. Hawk Moth screamed in rage, but Prime Queen ignored him still. They're a wonderful person. Chat Noir, he cares so much about me. It's nice to have a friend like him. Chat Noir's face turned a deep red listening to Lila. Ladybug stood there, disgusted. Will you shut up already? Why are you listening to her? Aren't you supposed to be doing your game or whatever? Ladybug screamed. Prime Queen turned to Ladybug, confused by the hero's outburst. Prime Queen, this could be used as a show idea. Lila said quickly, getting Prime Queen's attention. A show idea? Yes. Take what's happening here and make it into a show. You'll get a lot of ratings that way. Prime Queen hummed thoughtfully. Oh, I like that. And what I said about me and Chat Noir, use that. Lila added. Prime Queen jumped excitedly. Oh, yes. A superhero secretly in love with a civilian must keep it hidden at all costs. I like that. Might have to go through some works, but I like it. Prime Queen smiled happily. Great, Lila said. She hoped this will cause Prime Queen to deaccumatize herself. You must want to leave now, huh? Prime Queen asked and moved to where Lila was being held and let her out. She then took Lila back to Ladybug and Chat Noir, who looked shocked as Prime Queen placed Lila down in front of them. Then, Prime Queen removed her acumatized object and handed it to Lila. Here you go. Lila smiled and took it. Hawk Moth quickly threw his miraculous away when he felt a burning sensation. Nuru came out of it with a gasp of pain which was slowly growing. That's what you get, Nuru. I told you to let me test out my plan. Gabriel yelled as Nuru cried softly. When the butterfly flew out, it was a light color, almost pink. It flew up a few feet before turning into nothingness. Same with the formerly acumatized object, it no longer existed. Nada came back and fell to her knees. She looked around, wondering what had happened. You got acumatized and Ladybug and Chat Noir saved you, Lila lied, helping Nadia off the floor. She looked at the two heroes. Oh, thank you both. You're welcome, Chat Noir said. Why yes, you're welcome, Ladybug said. Oh, and you got a new show idea to write, Lila added. Nadia's eyes went wide. Oh yes, that's right. I have to get home quickly and start writing. Nadia quickly left the room. Should you do your miraculous cure? Lila asked. Ladybug didn't say anything. She just stared at Lila with an expressionless face. Ladybug? Chatnor asked. Miraculous Ladybug. Everything went back to normal. Chat, could you take me home? Lila asked. Chatnor nodded. Of course, princess. Chatnor picked Lila up. I'll see you later, Ladybug. Ladybug didn't hear Chatnor's words. He left her alone. I hate her so much, Ladybug said angrily. She soon left after a moment. Kagami walked into her father's old study room. She had never been in here before. The door was normally locked. But as soon as Kagami got home, she looked for the key for it. It took her hours to look because her mother was up and about and Kagami didn't want to alarm her while she was looking. She was finally able to locate the key in a book in her mother's own study room. She placed it back there before leaving quickly. She waited until nightfall to head to her father's old room. She walked around, seeing a tall bookshelf. She walked to it, looking for a book with no name on it. She had to pull a few when her hands landed on it. She pulled it and it opened into a secret room with stairs heading down. So, Lucius was right, Kagami said to herself. She took a deep breath and held herself against the wall and walked down it. It took a while until she soon found herself in a room. In the center was a light blue colored book with a light blue sea turtle on it. She walked to it. Open the Gate of Soul, Kagami read out loud. She picked up the book and it glowed a calming yet terrifying light. She took a deep breath and opened it. A bright glowing light surrounded Kagami and she soon found herself in a huge room. Surrounding her were brick walls and she was standing on a circle platform surrounded by what looked like water. Hello, Kagami Tsurugi. Kagami looked up and fell back, her body shaking in fear. A large being floated in front of her. It didn't have legs, only a torso which was broken into parts. Just like its arms and head which just floated. Beside it was a girl about Kagami's own age. She looked so familiar to her, but only the hair. She was wearing a dark gray fox mask and her outfit was a fox-themed outfit. On the other side was a tall blue-skinned pale woman. She was wearing a white mask and her hair was long and dark blue. She wore a long dress. She stood there looking at Kagami, right into her soul. Mississippi Tsurugi? Kagami looked up and she quickly got up. She bowed her head. Lady of Souls. My name is Kagami Tsurugi. I am here to challenge the siren. Oh, really? What do you say? The Lady of Souls looked over at the siren who narrowed her eyes. She jumped down not the platform. Speak your reason, child. Kagami's eyes went wide. The siren's voice was deep and filled with annoyance. I am here on behalf of Lucius. He had asked me to fight you. The siren stared Kagami down. She looked over at the tricker who nodded her head. I see. Head up now, child. Kagami did what she was told. Surprising for a child of the devil to ask for help. I guess he didn't want to go against the tricker and her awful trick. It was just music. He can't play an instrument to save his own life. The tricker howled. That voice. You sound like my dear friend, Kagami said. Oh, I might as well be your old friend, the tricker howled again, making Kagami uneasy. Now, can you play an instrument? Kagami shook her head. No, my good friend Luca will be going against you. The tricker nodded and sat down. The Lady of Souls cleared her throat. Now, let me explain the rules of this fight. Kagami and Siren, you will each have a weapon of your choosing. You can pick two or keep one. If you decide to change out your weapons, you must do so quickly because you won't get another change again. Your goal is to knock your opponent in Not the Silent, Crying River. Do we understand the rules? Kagami nodded. The siren didn't say anything. She instead snapped her finger and two sets of weapons popped up, each going around to them both. You have 10 seconds to pick your weapons, the siren said. Kagami quickly looked around and saw a katana. She picked it up. She was ready to turn when she saw small smoke bombs. 5, 4. Kagami could hear the siren counting down. She quickly took the smoke bombs and tucked them in her pocket. All the weapons disappeared and Kagami turned to face the siren. The siren had one weapon in her hand. It was a long chain attached to a small spike ball. She swung the spike ball around. Kagami recognized it as a meteor hammer. Now, do you want to add something, Trickers? The Tricker nodded. You can cut the siren's mask too to win. Don't die. The Tricker sat down and crossed her legs. The Lady of Souls nodded. Now, let's begin. The siren was the first to attack, throwing her meteor hammer at Kagami, who quickly dodged the attack. Kagami tried to do a counterattack, but the siren was too quick. She threw her weapon around madly, causing Kagami to go on the defense. Kagami realized she was going back in one direction. She quickly moved out of the way by throwing some of her smoke bombs. She got a fair distance away, but something cut through her face. A line of blood slowly went down her face. What's wrong? You scared? The siren spoke as she pulled back her meteor hammer before swinging it again at Kagami, who quickly moved to avoid the spike ball of death. Kagami moved for an attack, but had to block a kick from the siren. As the fight went on, the Tricker yawned. You bored? No. I want to yell something, but I don't think Siren would like that. Causing problems is your specialty, the Lady of Soul said. So, go ahead. The Tricker's fox mask smile grew. Hey, Siren. Tell Kagami about her father. Kagami was confused by the words. She felt a strong kick to the gut. She stabbed the ground to stop the pushback. Kagami coughed up a bit of blood. She was getting tired. Siren walked up to her. Tell me, Kagami, do you know what happened to your father? Kagami shook her head, getting up. Your mother, Tomio, gave up his soul to extend her life. Kagami's eyes went wide. What? No, this can't be right. Which mean, Lucius was right. Was her own mother planning on giving up her soul? Your mother had done this a lot to her sisters, brother, mother, father, cousin, and even to her own husband. It's amazing what people are willing to do to stay alive. Kagami bit her lip. She quickly moved out of the way when she saw the meteor hammer coming at her. Why are you telling me this? Kagami yelled. She cut the air where the siren was standing. Kagami continued her wild and crazy attacks, the siren moving out of her way like a snake. Why? Because your mother was planning on doing that to you. Kagami's blade cut the air. The siren dodged it, going below the blade and uppercutting Kagami, who fell back. Her body hit the ground. She rolled. She was close to the edge of the platform. Please, help us. Kagami got up and looked into the water. Faces looked back at her. She screamed, moving back. Don't go. Help us. Help us. The voices were growing louder and louder. Silence. The siren screamed and all the voices fell silent. The siren kicked Kagami's weapon to her. Pick it up. Kagami looked at it. She got up. She couldn't keep this up. She had to cut the mask. She still had some of the smoke bombs. She just had to plan her next few attacks carefully. Kagami, do you want to know why your mother killed her family? The siren asked. The meteor hammer was swinging slowly beside her. It was picking up speed. No, and I don't care, Kagami replied. Oh, Kagami, don't lie. I'll tell you anyway. Your mother is dying. She has been dying for a long while. She wanted to live so much that she made a deal with Amber to extend her soul by sacrificing the ones she loved. Her husband was her last victim, and you shall be her next. Kagami wondered what kind of deal your own mother made to kill all of her loved ones. Siren threw her meteor hammer at Kagami, who dodged and started running up to the siren. Stupid girl. Do you ever learn? The siren quickly moved when a smoke bomb went off, then another one. You brat. Siren quickly dissipated the smoke, but Kagami added a few more down. I can't see anything. Tricker yelled. Lady Kokaro, what do you see? Kokoro looked at the smoke and she smiled. Look like you're about to have your fun soon. What? Tricker looked, trying to see what Kokoro was talking about. Kagami quickly moved inside the smoke. The siren was getting close to getting rid all of it. She only has 3 smoke bombs left. She moved to air right and whistled. What the hell? Kagami quickly moved out of the meteor hammer's way before whistling again on the other side. She threw a smoke bomb into the siren's face. Ah! The siren coughed and looked around before something cut up her face. She grabbed Kagami and threw her in the direction of the water. She felt something grab onto her and she looked up to see the tricker. You lost, siren. Kagami looked up to see that the siren's mask had fallen off her face, revealing a snake-like face beneath it. It seems that I have, the siren said, picking up the broken pieces of her mask and placing them back together before putting it back on her face. She pulled out a peak and tossed it to Kagami, who caught it. Tell Adrian to take that pearl on a full moon at midnight. No sooner or later. Kagami nodded. She was in shock that she had won. The tricker let her go. Guess I have to deal with this Luca guy. She sighed, but started to giggle. This will be so much fun. Goodbye, Kagami. Tricker exclaimed before she disappeared into smoke. Kagami stood there in shock. Here. Kagami looked at the siren's hand to see a silver ring with a small blue-gold diamond. Kagami took it and placed it on her ring finger. Thank you, siren. The siren nodded. Now you have to leave. Remember what I said. No later or early. At midnight only. Kagami nodded. All right, goodbye, Kagami Tsurugi. Kagami smiled but quickly fell when she felt cold, wet hands on her ankles. She slammed down onto the ground. She was being pulled into the water. What? You're going home now, child. Don't worry. It will be over soon. Kagami screamed when she was pulled into the water. Kagami tried fighting the water, but she felt water going into her lungs. Her vision started to go in and out before turning black altogether. Kagami screamed. Her whole body was covered in sweat like she had been drowning in a body of water. She coughed up a storm, feeling like there was water in her lungs. She looked around and saw that she was in bed, dressed in sleeping wear. She looked around, confused, until she felt something in her hand. She opened it and saw that pearl. She blinked and looked in her other hand to see the ring. So, it wasn't a dream. Which means... Kagami quickly jumped out of bed, leaving her room to head to Adrian's place. Amber, please. Have mercy on me. Tomio cried. She felt her body going weak. I told you, Tomio, to keep your end of the deal and you didn't. Your daughter's soul can't be used by anyone. Amber walked up to Tomio, her blade reflecting the moonlight. What if I give you a soul which you hadn't claimed yet? Tomio begged. Amber hummed. I'm listening. Gabriel Agresti. His wife, have you claimed her soul yet? Oh, her. She refuses to leave that thing she created. Okay. I'll take her soul then, since her son is going to get a new soul. Her half-soul is no longer needed. Amber snapped her fingers and Tomio gasped with new life. Next time, Tomio, your soul will be mine. Amber left. Tomio cured under her breath. Her daughter had ruined everything. Now, she had to find a new living soul to extend her own life. She knew that Gabriel's wife had been gone, but her soul had never left her body. She told them both to make sure their son had a full soul from each of them. The fact that Adrian only had half of one makes her angry. Gabriel had one job and he didn't do it. Tomio cursed Gabriel and his name for what he had done to her. Chatnor landed in front of Lila's window. She opened it. Do you want to come in? Chatnor shook his head. I have to go. Adrian, wait. Chatnor's eyes went wide and he turned back to her. Look, I care about you a lot. You're the best thing that happened to me, even though I didn't want your friendship at first. But you never gave up on me, which I still don't understand why. Chat Noir blinked slowly, moved by Lila. As Lila spoke, she felt Chat Noir's hands on her cheeks. Huh, Chat. Lila's eyes widened when she felt Chat Noir's lips on hers. It felt like an eternity when Chat Noir pulled away, quickly leaving Lila in shock. Goodbye, Lily, Chat Noir said. He left. Lila was still in shock after a while. Holy shit, he's in love with me. Oh, fuck, I must have given him the wrong signals. Nope. No, we're friends. Even friends kiss. Lila's face was red. I've got to go to sleep. I can worry about this later. Morning we will deal with this. Lila quickly closed her window and got into bed, sleeping. Adrian screamed into his pillow. Why did I go that? Flag looked at him. So, she knows your Chat Noir is not the issue here? Her face was so cute. Why did I kiss her without asking her? She's gonna hate me. Flag made a face. She knows who you are now, kid. Adrian wasn't listening to Flag. Hey, calm down. You're overreacting, the voice said. She'll probably talk to you tomorrow about it. Sleep now and let tomorrow you deal with it. Adrian calmed down a bit. She knows I'm Chat Noir. Yeah? And so? She's good at keeping secrets. She's not going to tell anyone unless you want your other friends to know. Adrian hummed. Flag watched him worriedly. She's so cute. Adrian placed his finger to his lips and giggled. Luca woke up to the sound of music. He got out of bed and made it up to the ship floor to see 3 women around his age playing instruments. All of them were wearing fox-themed clothing. The one in the center was playing the flute, the one on the left was playing a mandolin, and the one on the right was playing a lyre. All of them stopped when they saw Luca. Are you the tricker? He asked. Yes, the tricker hissed. She moved in front of Luca. Are you ready? Luca nodded and the tricker's fox mask smile grew. Let's begin.